Hi everyone, apologies, we were a few minutes behind time there. We just had a small little bit of a technical delay. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Neve Kavanagh and I'm the North American recruiter, and I'm joined here by Ashley and Rowan. Ashley is one of our postgraduate students and she's studying marketing, and Rowan is one of our undergraduate students and she's studying sports science. I'm going to let Ashley and Rowan just tell you a little bit about themselves, and I have a couple of questions that have been sent in by yourselves in advance, and also some topic points for us to be able to chat to Ashley and Rowan about. So Ashley, do you want to start off?
So hey everybody, my name is Ashley. I'm from a small town in Illinois, and like Neve was saying, I'm here at UL working on a master's degree in marketing. It's a one-year program. It's been a great time so far. The first time that I ended up at UL was 2 years ago, and I was studying abroad here for a semester. And, I decided I wanted to do that because, you want to see the world and you want to meet people from places you've never been and do things you've never done. And I'm super into history. Like, my dad is a history teacher. So, with Ireland having these ancient tombs that are like older than the pyramids and having castles just laying around, that was a huge draw for me. And, and then also like down the line, our family comes from Ireland. So I was really interested in just kind of connecting with that part of my heritage, and kind of just felt like coming back to live here for a while kind of made like a full circle. So, long story short, like I ended up here, I came, I fell in love with it, and then I went home, and then ever since I just kept thinking about how much I wished I could come back. And honestly, I didn't really think I could. Because you think, oh, there's no way I could afford a postgrad in the US. Like, why would I be able to afford one in Ireland? But like, despite all that, I looked into it, and I found out I could. So I'll get into this in more detail, but coming here for a master's degree is costing me a fraction of what it would in the US. It's a totally valid degree. It's just as much a degree outside of Ireland as it is in Ireland. And I'm getting to do all of this while also getting to have more time to be in like my favorite place. And UL is just my home in Ireland, so if I was going to come back to Ireland, I wanted it to be like at UL again.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Rowan, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from and stuff?
Of course. Yeah. I'm Rowan, as Neve said. I'm from a little college town in Michigan, and I first visited Ireland when I was 11 years old, and I know it sounds cliche, but when I got off the plane, I knew I didn't really want to leave. And that stuck in my head with me all the way through high school, and I knew I wanted to come here for college or go somewhere to study abroad, because I've had a little bit of wanderlust all my life. And living in a college town, my dad works at a university, and through him I was able to connect with a lot of his students who attended undergrad in the program that I'm studying here at UL. And they're so accredited, they're such intelligent individuals, and being here is a dream come true.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for that. So there's a lot of students that are tuning in today that are in the same boat that you guys were in this time last year. So they've applied to the university, or they're thinking about applying, they hold offers and they're about to pay deposits. So I was hoping you might be able to tell them a little bit about, your steps that you took before coming here. So coming from the US to UL, once you received your offer letter, paying deposits, what was the deciding factor in you actually finally choosing UL has been some of the questions coming through. And then we'll go into a little bit about booking accommodation and federal aid. But you might just talk about the offer and what was the final decider in choosing UL.
Yeah, oh my God, that feels like such a long time away. So much has happened since then. But no, I remember being in your shoes very vividly. It was a really big decision. But no, so I remember the application itself was really straightforward. A lot of things similar to applications to universities in the States, like a statement of purpose, why you want to go, the programs you're interested in. It was a free application. The turnaround time was decently fast. Like, I think I heard I had an offer like 2.5 weeks after. So then that process again was very straightforward. Everything is very much laid out for what you need to do by the administration. So you just pay your deposit to secure your place, and that's done easy enough just through UL's setup. And from there, you are in, and so you keep getting emails about what you need to do. So everything you need to bring and what you need to know and do, straightforward.
Brilliant. Rowan, what about you? The same experience?
Oh yeah, I applied via Common App. It's super easy. It's where I applied to with all my other colleges, but UL was always number one on the list for me. And I came to Ireland the year before I applied, and I talked to Neve, and she actually gave me a provisional offer, and I got that, and it's very exciting. So I got in.
Brilliant. So some of the questions that have been coming through to us from students that are hopefully coming in ready to come for this September is about booking accommodation and on-campus accommodation, and they're very curious about, you know, where to live, which student village, what are the dorms like, even though we don't do dorms, but I'm going to refer to it as a dorm for the moment, just keep with the US terminology. You might just explain a little bit about where you're living on campus and what it's like. So Rowan, do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, of course. I live in Kilmurry Village, which is one of the oldest villages on campus. It's set out in a layout where you live in your own room, but you share a bathroom and a common area and a kitchen, which is fully stocked with all the supplies you need to make yourself dinner or breakfast and everything. And with it, they give you free access to the UL arena, which is places where you can go work out and go get your blood flowing. So, yeah.
Very sweet. Tell me a little bit just about the living quarters down in Kilmurry.
Yeah. So I get my own room. I live with 6 other girls, and they give you a double bed. It's so much bigger than a dorm in the US. It's so much nicer too, to be honest. And I live with Erasmus students, but you can choose whether you live with all co-ed, all Irish speaking students, or they even have a gender color dorm. Where if you're transgender or anything, you can pick to live with them, which is really nice. They give you a lot of options.
That's pretty sweet. Ashley, what about you? You're in a different student village, so compared to Kilmurry, which is more like the older housing style, I think you're in a more of an apartment style block. Is that true?
Yeah, I'd say so. So I live in Tolman Village. It's over the river. So UL, you might see on a map, has 2 campuses and the beautiful River Shannon running through it. So I get to cross the pretty bridge every day to go to class and go home. But yeah, so Tolman, whereas in Kilmurry, I feel like it's more so. Is it more so maybe the younger levels?
Yeah.
I feel like there's more postgraduates in my side of the river and in Tolman Village. But so I live with 4. There's 4 of us in total in the house, and it's an ensuite bathroom, so we all have our own bathroom in our room, which is really, really nice. We share the kitchen and the living room, and there's TV in there, there's Wi-Fi, there's, like Rowan said, fully stocked with pots and pans and everything. But yeah, so it's really fun living in these quarters because, you know, I've had the opportunity now to live with one of my roommates who's from Ireland and one who's from Nigeria and one who's from India, and so all in all, like living on campus, I think it's great because you're close to your other friends who live on campus, you're close to campus, close to food places, and everyone's really nice who works in the office, so.
Brilliant. Okay, so just booking accommodation, did you just go onto the accommodation website and use your application number so for students that are currently applying or that have applied and have an offer, it's going to be a 19 number on your offer letter. Did you just use that and log into the accommodation system? Yeah?
Yeah, again, super straightforward. And on that website, you can preview what they all look like. They have photos, videos, so you can kind of pick out which ones you're interested in. And the way it works is you pick like your top 5 or something.
Yeah.
And then you get your assignment a few weeks later. So.
Yeah.
That's super
Very
easy. Super easy. Now, some of the students are very interested in knowing about the federal aid system.
Yeah.
So here at the university, we do actually accept federal aid loans. We don't accept the grant, unfortunately. The grant is something that can't leave the US. But I know that, Ashley, you have been availing of the loan system. How was the application? Is it different to the US compared to going overseas, or is it fairly straightforward? You might just...
Yeah, I was super surprised to find out that it is not different when you're doing it for a school in another country. Yeah. But no, so I'm really grateful for the agreement that UL has with Department of Education, because I wouldn't be here without the loans. But no, it's actually really easy. So, you know, you fill out FAFSA just as you would, put in the information, fill out your school as a University of Limerick, and you'll just need, it's what's called the Department of Education school code, and that's easy enough to find. You know, you just type into Google University of Limerick FAFSA school code, and you have it. So aside from that, you know, you just do it as normal as if any other US university, and then you know, they process it, you get your awards back, and then you tell UL how much of that reward you want to claim, and from there, you know, the staff at UL knows the process very well, and they're very much able to answer any questions that you have, and they send you so much information. It's everything you need to know. But it's really, really nice because it's fairly straightforward.
Brilliant. One big question we're getting all the time, and it's really funny, I kind of laugh because is what do you bring? You know, how do you get flights? Where do you fly into? And what do you bring with you? So for me, it was kind of, I was trying to help some students out with it, and I was like, well, we provide a lot of the stuff. The only thing we don't provide is food, obviously, and a few electronics like your hair straightener, your hair dryer and stuff. And you can buy that stuff here if you want. But you might just tell how you got here, which flights you took. Did you fly into Shannon? Did you fly into Dublin? And, you know, what did you bring with you? Yeah?
I flew into Shannon my first year because I took use of the university providing a taxi service to take me from Shannon to my dorm, which is extremely useful when you do not know the transportation system in Ireland yet. And I just brought 2 suitcases. I probably brought too much stuff than I actually needed. One thing that I wish I would have brought more of is waterproof gear, because it rains every day in Ireland. You will need rain boots and a raincoat, not water resistant, waterproof.
Doesn't rain all the time. I beg to differ there.
Nearly all the time, but yeah.
Ashley, what about you? What would you recommend?
Yeah, so I flew into Shannon my first time too, just because airports and public transport was very new to me. But then after my semester here, I got really good at it. And then I decided I'd fly into Dublin airport and then go from there straight to UL. The bus will take you from there straight to University of Limerick, which is super nice. So I got here nice and easy, got checked in. I also think I brought too much, but I brought 2 suitcases because I know I want to go home with more than what I came with. So, you just bring, like Rowan was saying, clothing that's more for the fall, spring kind of year, because that's kind of what the temperature is a lot. Waterproof, definitely a must. But aside from like the things that are unique to your life that you need, like medicines or like special products that you use, or like your electronics, chargers, adapters. Other than that, there's not too much pressure because you can get anything here, and for really cheap too. Like there's stores close by, and I think even when you first get here, UL like fills you all up on a bus and takes you to run your very first errands in Ireland. Like,
well, that's actually an interesting point, because the next question Rowan was going to ask you about is that one of the students was asking about UL orientation.
Yes.
So obviously, because Ashley's done it twice now, you might be the best person to ask about this. How did you find the orientation program? Was there enough information given to you about, obviously, you know, getting to the grocery store, getting to the supermarket, you know, information about immigration, that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, it was great. I experienced freshers orientation, which is like a freshman orientation for first years, and international orientation in the same week. So it was quite busy and there was a lot of information. But I took it all in and it was actually really helpful. With the international orientation, they help register you for citizenship or your residential permit. And pretty much they just give you your date which you have to go, and you get that all set. Super easy. They also help you out with anything you need. They take you to the milk market, which is really nice, and they show you around Limerick City, help you get your groove, I guess. And yeah.
Okay.
It's really nice.
That's pretty cool. You might actually also, just you said, because the first year orientation and you might explain then about the first 7 weeks, or both of you might explain about the first 7 weeks program that we have. So as part of orientation, you'll get a full week orientation, but then we have this thing called the first 7 weeks, which slowly introduces you to different elements of the university. So Ashley, do you want to say a little bit about the first 7 weeks?
Yeah, I love the first 7 weeks. Okay, so I fully expected to need them every step of the way when I was first getting here studying abroad, because I knew nothing. And then I got a bit cocky coming back for post-grad. I was like, I know everything I need to know. I don't need the first 7 weeks. I needed them way more than I thought I would. But they're so nice because they know everything, and if they don't know, they find out for you. And they're really friendly in there, and they have like Crunchy Fridays, which Crunchy is like a really nice like chocolate honeycomb candy bar here. And it just is a way to get you in and say hi and get a free chocolate bar, and for them to get to know you. So they're a great resource that UL offers.
Brilliant. We have the first 7 weeks hub in the student centre, which is the courtyard, which is where a lot of the student activities happen here on campus. And I know that Ashley and Rowan are going to talk about the facilities on campus in a little while, but I do still want to kind of stick with this for a few minutes on the topic of orientation. And a lot of students are asking about opening up bank accounts. So Ashley, I know that you have gone through this process. You might just let them know what it's like to open up a bank account, and obviously to get like your PPS number, which is similar to a social security number here in Ireland, to be able to work.
Yeah, and I bet the thought of that, like doing all that in another country, seems really intimidating. I know I was before I did it. But again, the process is really straightforward. So I'll start with the process of like the bank account, since that's what needs to come first. Yeah. But no, so you open up the bank account. There's a Bank of Ireland branch right here on campus. So it's really nice because sometimes, you don't want to have to call and wait and be on hold and stuff. So you can walk right in, and they're there to help you. They are very helpful in there. And you just bring a line of documents that UL tells you what they are. And you also get a letter from this office. It's just stating that you're a student and you'll be here. This is why you need a bank letter. Then you go in, you fill out the information, and then you have it. And then you'll get your debit card a few days later, and then you're all squared up. And then as for the PPS number, that's for if you're going to work in Ireland and you're going to be availing of payment and everything. So the PPS number, like Neve said, is similar to social security number. It's how, it's how the revenue system in Ireland keeps track of what you're getting and all of that. But there is plenty of online resources to help you like prepare for that. I know I was doing that in August, just before I was getting ready to leave, figuring out what I need to do. But there are small offices all throughout Ireland. There's one right here in Limerick City that you go to, and you just bring the documents that you're told to bring, and then they get you registered, and there you go. Then you can get paid.
Perfect. Sounds fairly straightforward. And we're here at the international office. We'll be able to advise you and give you all the steps at the same time. Moving on then to some the kind of the fun parts and some of the fun questions that have been coming in. A lot of students have been asking about like facilities on campus. So Rowan, I'm going to direct this question at you. Sports facilities. Yes. You are a sports major. What is there available? What are you currently involved in? You might just let American students and anybody else who's joining in on the video feed what there is and what can be offered.
Okay, well, So firstly, I am in the soccer club, or I was for the first semester. It was absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, I got injured and I can't do it anymore. But we practiced at the new McGuire's Astro pitches, which are pitches are the like fields. They're absolutely amazing. They're brand new. I wish I could spend every day out there. We also have a nearly new track, which is super nice. It's blue, which is really fancy.
Got redesigned over the summer, so it is actually,
There's also the UL Arena, which is super nice. It's actually so nice that I can never get a spot there because it's so busy. And I have classes in there because of my sports science degree, which is great because they have teaching facilities in there. You get to interact with the general public. And we also have a North Campus, which has Astro pitches as well, and also grass pitches.
Perfect. I know that one of the questions is coming in. I'm just going to jump into one or two of the questions here really quickly since we're on the sporting part, is about tennis.
Yes.
So it was from, the student hasn't given their name, but they're wondering, is there tennis classes or courts available, and are they included in the UL membership, or could they use them? Is there an additional fee, or can they use them for free? So I know that they're down beside Kilmurray, so you might...
There's around 4 tennis courts besides Kilmurray. I'm not sure they offer classes. I think that would be something outside of UL. But I know you can go down there, you can ask Kilmurray Village, and they'll give you rackets, and you can go play down there for free.
Oh, pretty sweet. Now, I know that there is also a tennis society, so you can join the tennis society and play some games, and there is clubs outside of the university that you can also join. Now, Ashley, since you're a postgrad student, I'm going to direct this one at you. One of the students has been asking about the library facilities, and this is a little bit presumptuous of me, Ashley, being a postgrad student. Probably uses the library a little bit more than Rowan at the moment, so...
I do frequent the library. No, I mean, nerdy as it sounds, I do love the library at UL. No, it's always well maintained in there, so they keep it reasonably quiet so you can concentrate. a nice feature of it is that you can book an online study room, or you book a study room online, and then you can go in there and you have your own little space for like group projects, or even if you just need somewhere to be by yourself. They have revamped the library. Like when I was here studying abroad, they were working on it, and then I was all bummed. I don't get to see the new library, and then I ended up back. I'm like, no, I get to use it. But no, and so it's all redone, and they've got this beautiful new half, and they've got these ginormous rooms and all these desks that have plugs right there, so you could be charging your computer. You don't have to worry about it dying on you or your phone or finding and competing for spots. So it's a really well-equipped library, and there's a support staff in there all the time to answer a question if you have a question about the library, which you actually do. So no, it's really good, and it's a really nice resource.
Brilliant. One of the big things then linked with the library is obviously in the US there's a huge cost on books when you go to university.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big difference compared to here. So the library is used a lot for online resources and also books. So you don't spend massive amount of money on books. I think it's a fair...
I haven't bought one this year. I have not. I have done almost my entire lecture portion of my graduate program. I have not bought a book.
Okay, so no books. You're doing online journals, current, up-to-date research, that sort of stuff, rather than textbooks that were dated 10 or 15 years ago.
Which is nice, yeah, exactly, because you can keep up on exactly what's happening in your field. So, and our professors go on about that all the time, how it's a new age for. So,
okay, so one other big question that we've got is about clubs and societies. Now, I know, Rowan, you've touched on it a bit with the soccer club, but coming away from sports, because there will be students that are not sporty, like Rowan and myself, and Ashley.
No, I'm not sporty.
What other clubs or societies are you a part of? So the university has over 90 different clubs and societies. For me, if I was back as a student, I'd definitely be part of the tea society because I drink a lot of tea. But you might just tell us which ones you're part of, Ashley, and then we'll ask you, Rowan, if you're part of anyone that is not really as sporty.
Yeah.
So my favorite one that I'm in is called the Outdoor Pursuits Club. And so like living in Illinois, I don't have any mountains to ever try climbing. So I've never done that before. So being in Ireland, I thought, oh yeah, I'd like to give that a try. So I did, and it's so much fun, and everyone in the club is so nice, and they even hang out like outside of club events and all that. So, but no, so it was a great way to do something I'd never done before and see more of Ireland, and go into the mountains. Like I wouldn't be able to do that alone because I don't know how to hike, but with all of them and everything, it's been such a fun experience, and that is something that I would never have gotten to do if I hadn't come to UL.
Okay.
Start climbing mountains.
Climbing mountains. Rowan, what about you?
I'm part of the International Society, which is amazing. It was a lifesaver at the beginning of the year because I felt like I had no connections yet, and it really let me connect with other people who are in the same boat as me. They're in a different country. They don't know what they're doing, and what they do is every weekend they take a trip around Ireland, either whether it be at the Cliffs of Moher or a shopping trip to Galway or Belfast. It's absolutely amazing. You get to experience the culture, and they have fun events like table quizzes, or every Friday the Stables Club, which is like a little bar on campus, they designate to the International Society, and they have different themes, and it's just a really fun way to end the week.
Brilliant. I still have to call by on a Friday evening to check out one of the table quizzes or the TGI Friday, which is really good. Another one is students are asking about career opportunities and supports and different things. So actually, I'm going to come back to you with this one. But before I do, the university actually, we're very popular and we're very lucky to have a 97% graduate employment rate here at the university. And one of the reasons for that is because we have a unique co-op program embedded in all of our undergrad programs. So Rowan will get to experience that, I think, next year. Do you go?
Third year.
Third year. Okay, you go out in third year. Some students go out in second year, others go out in third year. And Rowan will get to go on 6 to 8 months work experience in preferably a paid placement. We try to get our students into paid placements, and from there then we work with over 1,900 different companies based all around the world, from Apple to Google to Facebook to Northern Trust to even local companies here, including the university as well. So on that, students are asking about CV workshops in the careers office, what opportunities there are. Is there career fairs? Do you get in front of companies? Do you get help with mock interviews? Actually, being a grad student and almost looking for employment, all year basically, trying to build up that CV for when you graduate. What supports have you used, or is there supports available?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I love the career services office. And like you said, so yeah, I mean, I am looking into like working in Ireland and all of that. And so that all seems a bit daunting to me, having never done that before, whether in the States or in Limerick in Ireland. So I go in there a lot, and I show up here with my resume, but it's not exactly a CV, so I didn't know what the difference was or how to make one. So it's like they met with me one-on-one, and they helped me tailor my CV or my resume into my CV. And so now I have one that I'm proud of. They help you with your LinkedIn. They also do mock interviews. So if you just go in letting them know what kind of industry you're interested in, even they can help you do like a pretend interview and kind of get that practice, because sometimes it's really nerve-wracking to go in and look at somebody who you want to hire you. So they're amazing. They cover everything, and they're so friendly in there. And they actually hosted a workshop that I went to for international students that want to stay in Ireland and work. Nice. So I attended that, and it was, again, very knowledgeable. So they do a lot for international students as well as local students.
Brilliant. And one thing actually just on the work aspect, so undergraduate students, once you complete your 4-year undergrad degree, you actually get a 1-year stay back visa, so you get to stay and work in Ireland for a year after that. And for postgraduate students, so somebody like Ashley, they actually get a 2-year stay back visa to be able to work and live in Ireland. And don't worry, once again, we at the international office will help you through all that and help you with the documentation in order to get it set up. And we call it what's known as a 1G visa. Yeah, in case you're looking up online or Googling it, just Google 1G visa Ireland, you'll be able to see it. Class sizes. What differs compared to the US to here when it comes to class sizes? How are the classes structured academically? What are you looking at in a difference? Actually, you might be able to give a little bit more detail on this, and then Rowan, you might be able to describe it because you had done some university credits when you were in high school. So do you want to kick off about what the classes are like, what your lecturers are like, and what were you expecting compared to the US?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure how different it would be or how similar. I was a little bit relieved to find that it is fairly similar. So it's nice when you come from a background that is going to help you when you come into this kind of similar education system. One difference I have found is that while in the US, I feel like it's a little bit more hand-holding that the professors do, because they will quiz you more often, pop quizzes and stuff like that in the US is more common, I think. Just making sure that you're learning and stuff, whereas I think here, there's a little bit more self-discipline where it's up to you to be covering those materials and stuff, which I personally like, because then I can be in charge of what I do with my time and when. Yeah. Whereas in the US, I'd say there's a little bit more busy work where it's more assignments, but for less weight on your final grade. Whereas in Ireland, it is generally fewer assignments, but for a greater weight on your grade. Which again, I found both are good and bad in their own ways, but what I like about having fewer projects is again, I can put more effort into one and be really proud of that assignment, and also have a little bit more free time in the off periods, which you want a little more free time because you're, in Ireland.
Yeah. Or you want to travel around Europe as well. Yeah. It gives you that option. Rowan, what about you? What's the big what was your expectations compared to what you were used to, or you might go through that?
Yeah, so in high school I was dual enrolled throughout most of it. I dual enrolled at 3 universities just to kind of test it out. And going to classes here now, I'd say it's a lot more structured here. And it's a lot more interactive. The professors actually care, they know you, they have you in more than one lecture, and you're not with a bunch of people that you don't know. And generally, I just like it a lot more.
That's good. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. So just coming away from the university a little bit, and going into some questions around actual Limerick and Ireland. So a lot of students have been asking, what has been your favourite thing to do in Limerick to date? Or what do you think of the city? I like to describe it as a kind of a modern day Ireland city with still the traditional. So you have a city with all the, amenities and services that a city provide, but you still have that real Irish community, Irish based feel about it. So you're getting a real genuine feel for Ireland, if that makes sense to you guys. Yeah?
Oh, I remember exploring Limerick City for the first time, just kind of looking around at everything, because a lot of the buildings are really old, and I wasn't used to seeing that kind of architecture, and it was fun to look at. And then also there are the new things, so like more modern things that you get to do too. So you have like a mix of everything. But I was obsessed initially with like the cafes and everything, just because like I love the tea and scone culture of Ireland. So checking out different places to go for that around here, like a good Irish breakfast, like on a Saturday, or stopping at the milk market. Kind of like my big things about Limerick City.
Yeah. Rowan, what about you?
I also love the milk market. One of the greatest things I think about campus is that there's a river path that goes along the river. It's connected to Kilmurray. You can walk all the way into the city center. It's only about a 5-kilometer walk. And you can go on a Sunday morning. It's the most peaceful thing you'll ever have. And you can go to the milk market. You can get your food.
Nice. Nice. The milk market is definitely one of my favorite things about the city as well. I go in there most Saturdays and get my fresh veg and everything from in there. Now, do you do a lot of travel around Europe or Ireland, or have you done? So Ron, you might not have done much yet because you're only fresh in the door. But where in Ireland have you been to so far, or what have you seen while been here?
I've been to the Cliffs of Moher, which are, you must go there. It's a staple of Ireland. One of the favorite places I've been to, which isn't really promoted that much, is the Aran Islands, which it's promotely Gaelic speaking, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. I went there with the International Society, and we spent the day there, and it was just so peaceful, and I actually got to swim with a dolphin. That just took my love. Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
It was quite crazy, but yeah, that was my favorite place.
Okay. Ashley, what about you? What's been your favourite place to go to in Ireland so far? Or have you done many European countries when you were on a study abroad experience?
Yeah, on a study abroad experience, you can definitely fit in a lot of countries. Time management is my thing, so I made sure I fit in a lot. I think I went to 10 when I studied abroad for that semester, but being a postgrad, it's a little bit more rigorous, and it should be because you're getting a master's degree. So I am planning a trip to Scotland for a weekend coming up soon. But aside from that, I've been very much content making this all about seeing more of Ireland, because there's just so much to see. Like if you go all the way out to Dingle and check out that cute little town, they've got their dolphin there, and then you go check out cities like Galway and Cork, and go to Dublin, or even up all the way to Belfast. Like you can cover a lot in a weekend, and so many parts of Ireland are different and similar in different ways, so it's fun to check it all out.
Pretty sweet. Okay, what has been your favourite place? Or can you pick a favourite place?
Oh no. I don't know. I think you need to come back to me. Do you have one?
Yeah, I gotta think.
Oh no, I remembered. Bundoran and Donegal.
Oh, okay, Donegal.
Yeah.
Bundoran. Okay, that's pretty sweet. And plus the Donegal accent is really, really beautiful to listen to. Yeah. Rowan?
I think I gotta stick to Aran Islands.
Stick with the Aran Islands, okay. There's a lot of... The Aran Islands is one of what we call the Gaeltacht, which is an Irish-speaking village or town. So there's a couple of them dotted still around where the first language will be Irish, although majority of Ireland, all over the country, we all speak English, so don't panic, just in case you get worried. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through some of the questions that have come in from more of the students. So we have Maggie here from North Carolina, and she has asked, did you find it difficult to make close friends with Irish people or local people around, or how has that been so far? So Rowan, do you want to kick off with this one?
Yeah, of course. It actually wasn't that difficult. Once I got into my program and I started talking to people who were in my course, they kind of just adopted me into their culture, and I'm extremely grateful for it. I've spent a couple weekends at people's houses. They just adopt you right into your family. It's so nice.
Ashley, what about you? Have you made local friends?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's a really, really good question. That was one of the biggest things I was kind of like intimidated about. But no, it's like when you get here, you are in school with them, you're working with them, you're interacting in clubs with them and all that. So it's a great way to meet them. But I mean, it's like Rowan said, everyone in my experience has been so welcoming. And like we were just talking about our favorite places we've been in Ireland, like a lot of those places are going home with them in their towns, and they kind of show me where they grew up and stuff. Like I go off to a town outside of Dublin called Lucan a lot with some of my friends and check out those small areas. And then I went to Bruff a few weekends ago with my friend. She's from Bruff, and that's actually where JFK's maternal grandparents came from.
Yeah.
So it was a huge history lesson. And I had no idea that that was actually, because Bruff is only about like 20 minutes from Limerick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also got like the stone circle, which is a giant stone circle coming back from the pagan era.
Oh yeah, well back from the pagan era.
Yeah, so that was super cool. And then you've got I think it's Loch Gur, which is a Bronze Age heritage site. So like we were talking about how much we love history, but it's like stuff from the Bronze Age found there and everything. There's remnants of ancient Irish villages, like with stone houses and everything. So
brilliant.
That was fun.
That is pretty fun. Okay, Eamon has two really good questions. The first one is, do you find the cost of food, fresh or eating out, to be more or less expensive than the US?
I mean, maybe, I think it's similar, in some ways a little bit more expensive, but with that being said, there's variety. So it depends on what you're doing. If you want a cheap takeaway, there are plenty of options. If you want a fancy dinner, there are plenty of options. If you want to go to a grocery store like the Super Value or something where there's more brands, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but you can also go to stores like Aldi and Lidl to save money there. So
perfect. I'd often shop in Aldi or Lidl, and I can get food and cook a dinner for 4 people for like €10.
Yeah.
Between mince, pasta, everything. The other question Eamon has, what do you like most and least about studying at UL?
Okay.
So do you want to go with the least one and then the most? Or do you want to go with most and then least?
Least? Start with
Start with the least. Okay. Rowan, do you want to go with this one?
Yeah, well, overall I think the UL is just amazing, but going back to the UL sports facilities, I can never find a place to work out. It's so crowded.
Also depends on the time you go.
Yeah,
If
weekends are dead. Weekends are dead.
Weekends are good. I also find 7 o'clock in the morning, if you're an early bird a bit like myself, 7 a.m. is a good time. Or else if you can get in just after lunchtime rush, it's pretty cool. But yeah, no, it can be a little bit crowded. What about yourself, Ashley? What's your least favourite thing?
Just that it's not close to home. So I mean, that's just a decision that you end up making. Like I remember I was kind of wondering, like, Mom, like, do I go all the way to Ireland? Like, and she told me, like, this is your life, and I want you to do what you want to do, and I want you to follow your dreams and all of that. But I mean, she has a point. I mean, if that's the adventure that you want, then it's worth it. And I think, it being far away from home is a bad thing, but also a good thing, because there's this level of independence that that you get when you live abroad, and there's all these experiences that you never would have if you hadn't pushed yourself out of your comfort zone. And if you have even a little bit of you wants to do that, then I think it's totally worth looking into.
That is brilliant. We have a couple more. We talked about accommodation, so it is actually pretty easy to secure on-campus accommodation, for anyone wondering about that. We talked a little bit about how the difference of the education systems are. What was the most difficult part about moving to Ireland?
Public transport, getting used to it. I got lost on the bus systems a few times when I first got here.
Okay.
But now I've got it down like the back of my hand.
I'm a little bit type A, so giving up control and not knowing what I don't know. But that is what the international office is for, and that's what the study abroad ambassadors and all that are for. It's people who are in the position you're about to be in that can help you anticipate what you don't already know, and can answer the questions when you run into things you don't know. So it's okay not to know.
Brilliant. So one here from Martin, specifically for you, Ashley, is, can graduate students compete in sports and join societies?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, classes, sure, they'll keep you busy, but they're not keeping you too busy where you can't have a life. So by all means, yes, you can.
Perfect. And another one that keeps coming up, and I know that we touched on it a bit, but we might just answer it one more time. What are the big differences you notice between college in the US and Ireland, even though one from grad school and the other undergrad? What would you say? Big differences, just the classes again, or?
Yeah, mainly the classes, but also I'd say, in the US, you're used to having your schedule very far in advance, and you get your exams turn around a little bit quicker. I think the pace of those administrative things in Ireland is a little bit slower, which at first threw me off, but that's just kind of the pace of Ireland's culture in general. I feel like in the US it's a lot more right off the bat, but in Ireland it's a little bit more relaxed, which is a little bit more my style. So I appreciate that. Nice.
Okay, here's quite a good one coming from Claire. What are some of the things you think you have gotten out of UL that you didn't think you would have gotten anywhere else? In other words, what makes UL special?
Student engagement, especially with my course. I feel I am never bored in the class. The lecturers always engage you. They apply it to yourself, especially in sports science. It's your body. You want to know how to apply it, and yeah, I just don't think I would have gotten that anywhere else.
Okay, that's a pretty good answer. Thank you.
The people, for sure. So the friendships that I've made here are friendships I will definitely have forever. And then also just even the international office too, the opportunities I've gotten through this office here have been unbelievable because professionally I want to go into that field. Yeah. So they've been so amazing about like mentoring me in the field and like, giving me opportunities to learn, and that's definitely something I don't think I would have gotten elsewhere.
Brilliant. Okay. Let me just check here. Okay. Ashley and Rowan, did you apply to any other schools abroad? Yeah?
Not abroad.
No?
No.
You applied internally?
Yeah.
Back in the US? Okay. And did you receive offers from them and then had to weigh them up and decide?
Oh, it was never really a way. I was just waiting to get my offer letter from here, and I was like, yes.
Perfect. What about you, Ashley? Was it the same thing? You applied to a couple of others and then...
I applied to two in Ireland. And so they were just two similar marketing programs, and I was just kind of thinking, oh, well, I've been to UL. Do I want to go somewhere else? And then I was thinking about that more. I was like, no, I don't. No, it's just like UL definitely became a home, and I loved the experience I had, and I wanted that again. So chose UL.
I like it. So one of the students asked, being in a one-year program and choosing to live off campus, is it a good choice or not? Now, I know you're not living off campus, but a lot of students actually do live off campus and still come in, so that is not an issue. Most of the on-campus accommodations are pretty close, so I wouldn't panic about that. Yeah. I'm just going to go through one more question, and then we're gonna wrap it up and let the girls head home for the evening, because there's dinner to be got and study to be done, and it is week 11, so we're coming up to exam periods and getting ready for that. So Kevin from North Carolina has asked about being the cost of rent, and is it hard to find roommates off campus, or does that work? So you might just talk about the cost of on-campus accommodation, and then Kevin, I'll answer your questions about off-campus. Yeah?
Yeah. So on campus, significantly cheaper than accommodation in the US. Right now, for having my own room, a bathroom of my own inside of it, a fully stocked kitchen, only having to share with 3 other people, it costs me about €6,000 for the entire year. So,
and that's everything: bins, internet, TV,
everything.
Wow. And are you the same room?
Yeah, everything but groceries.
Everything but groceries. That's pretty sweet. And off-campus accommodation is going to come in around the same thing when you take in all the extra bits that would be charged. But houses and everything come fully stocked, so furniture, the works is there, so you don't have to panic about those things. And about finding housemates, that's actually not that hard. It is very easy, and the accommodation office do have a list of off-campus accommodations as well. So I'm going to say thanks a million to the girls for helping us out tonight, and for giving their advice and giving you guys a little bit of pointers on what to do and what to join. And I'm going to just ask them both to kind of just give a little bit, what advice would you give to a postgraduate student, Ashley, at this moment in time, having 5 or 6 different offers in front of them and trying to decide where to go or what to do, as you were there this time last year. So what advice would you give to them?
Think about the things that you'll want to say that you have done in 20 years, I would say. Having the opportunity, or even like having your general direction, like, could I end up in Ireland one day? Like, if you want to, if that interest is there, then I think it's totally worth pursuing. Like, I remember being in your shoes, and I remember, like, I loved UL with all my heart and soul. Like, when I left my study abroad. But even then, deciding to come back was a really big decision, and I needed a lot of people to run it by, and I needed a lot of people to talk me through the what ifs and things like that. But I can't imagine having done anything else, and I can't imagine being anywhere other than here, and I'm so glad that I am where I am. It's like, I definitely am at home here. And I think that if you feel that you could be too, then definitely just ask your questions and go for it.
Dive right in. Rowan, what about you? What advice would you give to a high school student right now, coming up to the 1st of May, where you have to, offers are out, decisions have to be made? What would you recommend to them? What advice would you give them?
Don't have any regrets. Go where you feel like you're connected to the most, whether that be here or somewhere far away from here. Go where you think you will have a future and that you will be successful.
Pretty sweet. Thank you both. All right, everyone, that's us for tonight. Thank you so much for joining in. We are going to save this and send it out around your high school counsellors. We're going to keep it up on YouTube. But if you have any other questions or you need advice on anything else, just please don't hesitate to contact the international office at international@ul.ie, or drop myself an email for those of you that have been in contact with me, and we look forward to receiving your questions, and hopefully we get to see you all here next September. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.